These are 63 real HOA complaints filed against perfectly normal neighbors, and every single one was submitted with complete sincerity. Number 1. A homeowner filed a complaint because their neighbor's garden hose was coiled on the lawn when not in use. The hose was not leaking, not running, not in anyone's way. It was a hose. Resting near the lawn, it was designed to water. The board held a meeting about this. Number 2. A Florida resident filed a formal grievance because her neighbor's wind chimes were audible from the sidewalk while she walked past. Not from inside her home, from the sidewalk. Briefly, the chimes played 4 notes. In the wind, which is exactly what wind chimes are for. Number 3. Someone in Ohio filed a complaint over a neighbor's welcome mat. The mat said, "Welcome." The problem was that it was beige, and the approved color was tan. The homeowner pointed out that beige and tan are the same color. The HOA disagreed. A color swatch was submitted as evidence. Number 4. A Georgia resident filed a grievance because their neighbor's car was the wrong shade of silver. The car was a factory-standard sedan. The complainant called it flashy. Be honest. Have you ever looked at a silver Toyota and felt personally threatened? Number 5. A Texas HOA received a complaint that a neighbor's mailbox post was leaning 2 degrees off vertical. The filing included a photograph with a hand-drawn line indicating the lean. Someone brought a protractor to a mailbox and filed what they found. Number 6. In Tennessee, a resident complained that a neighbor's solar panels were changing the neighborhood's character. The panels were on the back roof, invisible from the street. The complaint was based entirely on the knowledge that the panels existed. Number 7. A California HOA got a 3-page letter about a resident's red front door. The homeowner argued that red is an earth tone, iron oxide, technically. The HOA was not moved. Science was not on the agenda. Number 8. Someone in Nevada complained that a neighbor placed a 4-inch American flag in their flower bed for the 4th of July. The complaint cited unauthorized signage, 4 inches, plastic. The board received this with a straight face. Number 9. In North Carolina, a homeowner complained that 2 white Adirondack chairs on a neighbor's porch implied a rustic aesthetic inconsistent with the community's aspirational identity. They were just chairs, painted white, sitting on a porch. Number 10. An Illinois resident filed against a neighbor for leaving their garage door open while actively working inside the garage. The complaint called it aesthetically disruptive. Where the neighbor was supposed to stand while working in a closed garage remains an open question. It somehow gets worse from here. Number 11. A Colorado homeowner complained about a neighbor's Christmas lights in October. Not because they were up, but because the boxes were briefly visible through the living room window from across the street. The lights were inside, in a box, unfired. Someone filed paperwork about this. Number 12. In Virginia, a resident filed because neighborhood kids were playing basketball in a driveway at 3 p.m. on a Sunday. The noise disturbance was a basketball bouncing on concrete. That is the sound of children existing. It was found worth documenting. Number 13. A Florida HOA received a complaint about a single potted succulent sitting on a front step. It needed sun. The outside is where sun is. The complaint described it as unauthorized outdoor vegetation. Number 14. Someone in Minnesota filed a grievance because a neighbor painted their fence a different shade of white. Not a different color, a different shade. Eggshell versus bright white. Paint chip samples were submitted for a fence. Number 15. In Arizona, a resident complained that a neighbor's motion sensor porch light activated when cats walked through the yard at night. The light was not pointed at the complainant's house. They were apparently monitoring its activation patterns at night. That is not a complaint. That is surveillance. Number 16. A Georgia homeowner filed against a neighbor's bird feeder for attracting wildlife. The wildlife was birds. To a bird feeder. Would you also like to report your refrigerator for keeping food cold? Number 17. In South Carolina, someone complained about a wind spinner in a neighbor's backyard, enclosed by a privacy fence. When asked how they saw it, they admitted they had looked over the fence, and then filed a complaint about what they found while doing that. Number 18. A Texas resident filed because a neighbor's doorbell camera was invasive. The camera faced the neighbor's own front door. The only way it captured the complainant was when they walked up to that door. They were concerned about being recorded on someone else's porch. while standing on it. Number 19. Someone in Ohio complained that a neighbor's stone garden path was too curved. The path curved to go around a tree. The tree was 30 years old. The complaint did not explain what the path was supposed to do instead. Number 20. An Illinois resident filed because a neighbor's lawn was mowed on Tuesday some weeks and Thursday others. The lawn was always mowed, always maintained. The complaint was purely about which day the mower appeared. This person had been tracking this across multiple weeks. Number 21. In New Jersey, a complaint alleged that a neighbor owning 3 cars implied a business operation or excessive household activity. 3 registered insured vehicles in a driveway in America, filed as suspicious. Number 22. A California homeowner reported that a neighbor's vegetable garden was too productive, suggesting the tomato volume implied commercial farming. The neighbor grew tomatoes, shared extras with neighbors. One of those neighbors filed the complaint. Number 23. In Washington state, someone complained that a neighbor's recycling bins were in the correct location but facing the wrong direction, rotated roughly 45 degrees. The garbage truck collected them without incident. One person did not move on. Number 24. A Florida resident formally reported a ceramic garden frog, 4 inches tall, in a flower bed, as inconsistent with community aesthetic standards. They described it as whimsical in a disruptive way. A 4-inch ceramic frog, disruptively whimsical, on record. Number 25. An HOA in Texas received a complaint that a driveway basketball hoop was 1 inch below regulation height, not 1 inch too high, 1 inch too low. Someone measured this at a residential basketball hoop and found it wanting. Number 26. A Maryland homeowner filed a complaint because a neighbor used a leaf blower at 8:52 a.m. on a Saturday, 8 minutes before the approved start time. The complaint included a timestamp and a note that the same thing had happened the previous fall. 2 years of 8-minute violations. Documented. Number 27. In Michigan, someone filed against a neighbor for planting lavender because it attracted bees. The bees were doing what bees do near lavender, which is their entire biological purpose. The complaint requested less biologically active plants. The bees were not consulted. Number 28. A Tennessee resident formally complained that a neighbor's backyard basketball court was encouraging youth activity near the fence line. Youth activity. Children playing. Filed as a nuisance. Number 29. In Georgia, a homeowner complained that a freshly re-roofed house used shingles that were, while technically within the approved color range, on the extreme end of approved darkness. They were concerned about a roof being aggressively dark. The roof had no comment. Number 30. A Virginia resident filed because their neighbor's garage door opened slowly due to the car's weight. The door still opened. The car still fit. The complaint was about door opening speed. Someone timed this and decided it was a governance matter. Number 31. An Arizona HOA received a complaint about a potted cactus on a front porch in Arizona, where cacti are native, abundant, and culturally significant. The concern cited was potential hazard to pedestrians. The cactus was on the porch, not the sidewalk. In Arizona. Number 32. In Colorado, a homeowner filed because a neighbor's dog had access to portions of the neighbor's own front yard via a leash the complainant considered too long. The dog was on a leash, on its owner's property. The HOA was asked to regulate leash length on private land. They held a meeting. Number 33. Someone in Illinois reported that a holiday wreath was still hanging on February 3rd, 3 days past the removal deadline. The wreath was not lit. It was not playing music. It was a wreath on a door in early February, filed with the board like it was a structural emergency. Number 34. A Florida homeowner complained that a neighbor's house numbers, while correct and clearly visible, were displayed in a font that was too casual for a residential setting. The numbers were readable. They were just slightly rounded. This was formally objectionable. Number 35. In Texas, a resident filed a complaint, backed by notes from 3 consecutive visits, that a neighbor's landscaper arrived 15 minutes before the approved service window. Not loud, not destructive, just early. This person monitored landscaping truck arrival times across multiple weeks and put it in writing. Number 36. Someone in North Carolina complained that a neighbor's outdoor speaker was audible from the street on a Friday evening. Not from the complainant's property, from the street. The neighbor was outside, on a Friday, playing music. The HOA was asked to intervene. This is somehow only number 36. Number 37. In New Mexico, a resident filed because a neighbor's porch swing was visibly swinging during their daily walk, which they found visually distracting. The swing was swinging because someone was sitting in it. That is what porch swings do. The visual distraction was a person existing outdoors. Number 38. A Minnesota homeowner filed against a neighbor's backyard fire pit, not because it violated hours, not because it produced smoke, but because it was visible from the complainant's kitchen window. A window they could simply not look out of. They chose the complaint instead. Number 39. In California, someone filed because a neighbor occasionally grazed one tire onto the lawn when pulling into the driveway at an unusual angle. One tire on the neighbor's own lawn. The lawn recovered. The neighbor did not. Number 40. An Oregon resident complained about a neighbor's compost bin, stored behind a privacy fence in the approved location, after detecting a faint smell. When asked how, they admitted they had pressed their face against the fence, and then filed a complaint about what they smelled while voluntarily doing that. Number 41. In Nevada, someone filed because a neighbor's motion-activated sprinkler occasionally wet the adjacent sidewalk during watering cycles. The sprinkler was watering the neighbor's lawn. The complainant wanted it scheduled around their morning walk. They wanted a sprinkler system arranged for their personal convenience. Number 42. A South Carolina HOA received a complaint that patio cushions were navy blue rather than a neutral or earth tone. The homeowner was asked to replace their cushions because someone couldn't eat breakfast without being bothered by a navy chair 40 feet away. Number 43. In Georgia, a resident filed a complaint about a spare key hidden under a neighbor's front step, which raises the immediate question of how they knew it was there. Setting that aside, the HOA was petitioned to mandate alternative key storage. The key was on someone else's property, hidden, and someone found it and reported it. Number 44. An Ohio homeowner filed because a neighbor's doormat had become slightly frayed after a year of use. The mat still functioned as a mat. Fraying is what mats do. This person had been monitoring the structural integrity of a neighbor's doormat for 12 months. Number 45. In Texas, a complaint was filed because a birthday party resulted in more than 8 cars parked legally on a public street simultaneously. The complaint described it as excessive temporary congregation and requested the board establish a guest vehicle maximum for private parties. A birthday party, reported, because of math. Number 46. A Florida resident filed against a neighbor for owning a rooster, which violated the livestock rule. The rooster was ceramic, 14 inches tall. From a home decor store, it had never been alive, it did not crow. It was reported as a livestock violation anyway. Number 47. Someone in Arizona complained that a neighbor's children had drawn chalk flowers and rainbows on their own driveway. The drawings were temporary, on private property. They would disappear in the next rain. Someone found this worth submitting to a governing body. Number 48. A Virginia HOA was asked to require homeowners to pad their recycling bins because they made a clanking sound during Thursday morning collection. The clanking was the sound of recycling being collected by the recycling truck on collection day. This person wanted the neighborhood to wrap its cans in foam. Number 49. In Michigan, a resident complained that a neighbor's lawn was too green and was making surrounding lawns look inferior. A lawn, too healthy, filed against, for flourishing. This is not a complaint about a problem. It is a complaint about excellence. Number 50. A Colorado homeowner filed a formal grievance because a neighbor waved at them too frequently on walks, creating social pressure to reciprocate. They requested the board discourage performative neighborly gestures. Someone filed a document about a neighbor who waved. This might be the loneliest complaint on the list. Number 51. In New Jersey, a resident complained that a neighbor's backyard string lights cast a faint glow visible from their bedroom window when the blinds weren't fully closed. The blinds worked. The solution existed in their own home, on a mechanism they had presumably operated before. They filed a complaint instead. Number 52. Someone in Tennessee complained that a neighbor's for sale by owner sign made the neighborhood look economically unstable. A house was for sale, as houses sometimes are. Someone spent 3 weeks bothered by this. Number 53. An Illinois HOA received a complaint that a neighbor was consistently excessively cheerful and that whistling while retrieving the newspaper constituted a noise disturbance. Whistling. Outdoors. Briefly. In the morning. Formally submitted as a nuisance. The whistler was just happy, and someone reported them for it. Number 54. A California homeowner filed because a neighbor installed a second bird bath, arguing one was appropriate but two indicated an imbalanced design sensibility. 2 bird baths, on a private lawn. Someone had opinions about the maximum acceptable bird bath count and put them on record. Number 55. In Florida, a complaint was filed because a neighbor did yoga on their back deck in the mornings. Silently. On their own private deck. The complainant, watching from an upstairs window of a different house, found the visible physical activity disruptive to their morning focus. A person was stretching, quietly, and someone found it disruptive from a different floor of a different building. Number 56. An Arizona resident filed a grievance because a neighbor's guest, not the neighbor, the guest, walked diagonally across the neighbor's lawn instead of using the path. Someone else's guest, on someone else's lawn, walking at an angle, filed as a community norm violation. Number 57. In Georgia, a homeowner was reported for bringing their garbage cans in too promptly after collection, making other neighbors look negligent by comparison. Too efficient. At garbage. Complained about. Remember this one, because what follows is going to make it seem reasonable. Number 58. A Texas HOA received a multi-page complaint claiming a neighbor's house was architecturally happy. The arched doorways and light yellow exterior projected an emotional tone the complainant found incongruent with the neighborhood's emotional register. They wanted the board to address the emotional tone of a house. The house was happy, someone was not. Number 59. In California, a homeowner filed a grievance alleging that a neighbor's vegetable garden was producing an unfair quality of produce, creating a social equity imbalance on the street. Better tomatoes. Reported as a fairness issue. To an HOA. They wanted the tomatoes regulated. Number 60. An Illinois resident complained that a neighbor had become notably more competent at lawn care, and that this improvement created unspoken performance pressure among neighbors. They got better at mowing. Someone wanted it stopped, not because it caused harm, but because improvement, apparently, is a form of aggression. Number 61. In Florida, a homeowner submitted a 12-page complaint, 12 pages dollars, alleging that a neighbor's morning routine created an ambient expectation of activity that made them feel implicitly judged for a quieter lifestyle. The neighbor's routine took place entirely on their own property. 12 pages. About a neighbor who existed actively, in their own home. Number 62. An Arizona HOA received a complaint that a neighbor's wind chimes, previously complained about for making noise, had been silent for 2 weeks due to no wind, and this acoustic absence had caused the complainant to develop anticipatory tension. Too loud, then too quiet. Same chimes. Same neighbor. Both complaints officially on file. Number 63. And finally, an HOA in Nevada received a formal notarized complaint alleging that a neighbor's house, by being well-maintained, attractively landscaped, and consistently tidy, was causing the complainant an involuntary sense of personal inadequacy each time they looked at it. Not noise, not paint colors, not a hose on a lawn. A nice house. Making someone feel bad. They wanted a governing body to do something about it. They wanted the nice house addressed. 63 complaints, all filed in confidence, all completely sincere. Which one was the worst? Drop the number in the comments and subscribe if you'd like to keep questioning humanity together.